Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. We're going to be talking about Emmanuel Macron here. This is the French president. Okay, and we're going to be talking about him and some of the warnings that he's putting out in terms of Ukraine. And if you've been following this channel, or maybe you don't know what's going on with him, but recently, over the last few days or last week, Emmanuel Macron has been talking very aggressive, I want to say. Aggressive and willing to do anything necessary to support Ukraine. And that even means boots on the ground. Okay. So I did a report within the last week where Emmanuel Macron was coming out and telling like more than 20 different European leaders, and many of them are NATO countries, telling these leaders that France would be willing to put boots on the ground in Ukraine to defend Ukraine should they start to fall. Well, now we've got him. As of yesterday, he was at this meeting with other party leaders at the Elysee Palace. Okay, this is inside of France, I believe, and they were holding a meeting discussing Ukraine once again. And he was basically warning there that, as you can see on your screen, France has no limits on support for Ukraine. He was saying that, well, Vladimir Putin doesn't have any limits on what he's doing to Ukraine, and we shouldn't either. He's saying we shouldn't have any limits. We should be willing to do whatever it is necessary to support Ukraine. That even means boots on the ground. Okay. And he also warned here. Let me show you this article. Let's get right into this. This is on Yahoo News, originally from the Telegraph. Macron said West may need to save Ukraine if Russia makes a breakthrough. Okay, and what do you think he means by that, by saving Ukraine? That means boots on the ground, that they may have to go in and actually support them side by side with boots on the ground. So Emmanuel Macron warned that the West may have to step in to save Ukraine if Russia makes a major breakthrough on the Eastern Front, according to reports on Thursday. And let me tell you, we're already getting reports right now that the Russians are already advancing. Okay, there's several towns on the east side of Ukraine that are starting to be evacuated, and this is because the Russians are advancing, and Ukraine does not have any weapons or ammunition. Okay, they're very low in ammunition and artillery shells to hold back the offensive from Russia. And this money is still held up in Congress. They're supposed to be getting like 60 billion from Congress, and the U.S. Congress is still not releasing this money to them. So it says here, French president produced maps to show opposition leaders invited to the Elysee Palace points of potential Russian breakthrough towards Odessa and Kiev. He told them there should be no more red lines on his country's involvement in the conflict. These are maps of the Ukrainian front line freely available anywhere, the Elysee told the Telegraph. Speaking after the 2.5 hour meeting, the party chief said the talks with Mr. Macron had left them concerned, with some accusing him of seeking to exploit the conflict for domestic gain ahead of key European elections in June. So there is a lot of elections going on this year. We know there's a lot of big elections in Europe going on. I believe Zelensky's up for re-election here pretty soon, and then in just about a week or so, a little over a week, Vladimir Putin is up for re-election as well. So lots of big elections going on here, and they're claiming that maybe he's doing this on purpose to basically use it to his own advantage. So that way he can get, he can use this for elections for other countries. Should he wants other, opposition leaders to be elected or whatever it might be. So I've got this article I want to show you too. This is pretty big news also. This is some other stuff he was talking about while he was here at this event. So he also said there was no limits to support Ukraine. All right. So President Emmanuel Macron on Thursday said France would not rule out any option to support Ukraine 2 years into Russia's invasion, leaders of several major French political parties said. Speaking after the 2.5 hour meeting, the party chief said that talks with Macron left them concerned, with some accusing him of using the conflict to boost his coalition's standing ahead of crucial European elections this summer. The president had last week stunned many in Europe by refusing to rule out the dispatch of Western ground troops to Ukraine, pointing to Russia's hardening stance. So see, just like I was talking to you about earlier, putting Western troops on the ground in Ukraine. He is all for it. and he's basically one of the only countries that are for it. I think there was a few that kind of stand with him a little bit, but for the most part, most countries are just like, no, we're not putting any boots on the ground. Although we already know, according to a leaked German military phone call, that there's already British troops on the ground in Ukraine right now. And earlier this week, Macron urged Ukraine's allies not to be cowards in supporting the ex-Soviet country to fight off the Russian invasion. He also did mention that recently. He was telling other nations, we can't be cowards here. We need to step up. We need to fight for Ukraine. We need to give them all the supplies they need. And if it's not enough, we need to send boots on the ground in Ukraine to help them out. Some party leaders on Thursday said Macron advocated a no-limits approach to counter Russian President Vladimir Putin. Green Party leader Marine Tondelier recounted Macron saying Putin obviously has no limits. So see here, she said it was extremely worrying to see Macron tell the meeting, we must show that we have no limits too. So he's definitely ramping up this rhetoric that, hey, it's time to go to war against Russia. Okay, he's willing by far, compared to any other leaders of other nations, especially in Europe, to go to war against Russia. The president's thinking includes no limits and no red lines, said Bardella. So yeah, he's got no limits, no red lines on Russia. Completely willing to support Ukraine, boots on the ground if need be. We do know that a lot of nations are starting to step up. I know the Czech Republic's been stepping up. France has been starting to step up a lot lately and send artillery shells. I think they're planning to send like 800,000 or more artillery shells to Ukraine because that's one of the big things that they're short on right now is artillery and ammunition for like their rifles and things like that as well. So this is getting pretty scary over here, okay? This French president, Emmanuel Macron, is really starting to ramp up this rhetoric, like I said, to push for war with NATO against Russia, and this is obviously not good because we don't need more wars in the world, right? There's already plenty enough going on right now, and I think people are sick and tired of war. But this president right here, he's very hawkish, when it comes to Vladimir Putin and Russia and this war in Ukraine. So, are they going to step up and actually send troops to Ukraine if they start to fall? We'll have to see. But obviously, this is a major deal, and I've been telling everybody this for a long time, that this war in Ukraine is major, okay? There's wars going on down in the Middle East and potentially over here in North Korea and South Korea and, China and Taiwan. There's lots of big wars that could start to break out, right? But this war in Ukraine is very, very important to the West and very, very important to Russia. Neither side wants to lose. So one side is eventually going to have to lose, or this war is just going to go on forever. And I think that's what the plan is here. It's just going to go on forever. But someday there will be an ending. And I believe the ending is going to be really bad. Let me know what you think down below. Comment below your thoughts. That's going to be it for this video and this update. Just wanted to let you know what Emmanuel Macron's been coming out and saying at these meetings. So if you got something out of this, please smash the like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope y'all have a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Everybody take care and God bless. We'll see you in the next one.